Good morning. Happy 420. Yep. April 20th, 2026. Episode 8 of the Morning Pit Stop. I'm your host, Jack Bobbin. Let's get going on the top stories in the car industry today. First one, I keep talking about the Beijing International Auto Show. It's scheduled to run from April 24th through May 3rd. Press days are April 24th and 25th. That's when we'll see the massive wave of world premiere cars at the show and the embargo for all the press stops. So a few days ago, I talked about VW Group's massive Auto China 2026 offensive. VW is unleashing an absolute electric onslaught at Auto China 2026. They're deploying an aggressive plan they call in China for China strategy, and they're going to debut 10 models and 4 world premieres at the show. The major highlights include the VW ID, something called the Unix, UNYX, an all-electric Jetta show car, and the FAW VW ID. I have no idea what that is. And Aura, which introduces a highly advanced China electronic architecture. So throughout the first part of the China Auto Show or Beijing Auto Show, we should be seeing VW just hitting hard. So expect to see stuff from me at the end of the week. In story 2, so a few days ago, I mentioned the fact that used Polestar sales of the Polestar 2 at Polestar dealers was up 46% in Q1. And so I was curious. So I started doing a little more research, wondering if the high price of gas is working against consumers, but the high price, $54,000 for the average EV, is working against that, right? So I hate the price of gas, but wow, $54,000 for an electric car plus maybe I got to put a charger at home or whatever. That's too much. And so I started looking at some used EVs, and what I found was actually really interesting. And there's been some recent reports. The math is actually working on used EVs, right? So first off, reports show, I think this is from Cox Automotive, reports are showing that used EV sales surged 12% globally last month. 12%. And if you can imagine, like here in the United States, I've been looking at the Model 3, the Ioniq 5, some of these others, and pricing is actually pretty attractive, right? New EVs are $54,000. These cars, like a 2 or 3 year old Model 3 and a 2 or 3 year old Hyundai Ioniq 5, are about 40% less. 40%, and you're not losing that much, right? And so there is, it's a very interesting number I want to show you here. Used EV sales in Q1, 12 to 27% in the first 3 months up, and a massive this is in the United States, and a massive 53.9% month over month jump in used EV transactions. New EVs, same time period, sales dropped 28%. So here's the cool number. For the first time ever, the price gap between a used EV and a used gas car has narrowed to record lows. That's about $1,000. We finally reached the point where an electric car costs essentially the same as its gas-powered equivalent on the used car lot. So that's crazy. Another reason that people may be moving away from the new EVs but be considering used EVs is the federal tax credit. So you used to get $7,500 tax credit when you buy a new or used EV, and that tax credit has now gone away. And so that doesn't make, those cars as attractive because you don't get the bonus, you don't get the credit. And so maybe used cars are more attractive, obviously, because they're cheaper. And so that safety net of the $7,500 isn't there anymore. And then the last reason, and you all recall this back in 2022, 2023, 2024, people were finding big deals for leasing. They were getting deals for leasing EV vehicles, and now those vehicles are being turned in now, and now dealer lots are flooded with these cars that are coming off lease. So the 36-month leases are ending, flooding the market with over 300,000 low mileage late model EVs. I'll tell you, the other day I was looking at the Ioniq 5 as a used car, like a 2 or 3 year old used car. And on average, these things had between 19,000 miles on them and about 30,000 miles on them max for a 3-year. Some of them even only had 10,000 miles on them. So these cars coming off lease, very attractive and very affordable. So, and because this glut is coming, right, it's dropping those used EV prices even more. So yeah, that was a very interesting story on used EVs and what's going on in the EV market. The third story of the day, Barrett Jackson, Palm Beach last weekend. I watched it live on TV over the weekend, and I think they had it, was it Super Saturday night or Super Saturday or something like that? It just wrapped up. Here's a couple of interesting takes from people at Barrett Jackson. Hypercars are seeing massive gains, and I'll share a couple of those with you. While traditional classics are kind of stabilizing, I don't know, this is just a guess, but with so much fluctuation in markets and all kinds of other things, are people moving to cars as an investment? You know, a lot of people say don't do that, but I mean, maybe they are. Maybe cars and that market, maybe these wealthy, affluent people, instead of dumping money in real estate, which is really suffering right now, maybe they're going to go to Barrett Jackson and buy 3 Ferraris or something. Who knows? But that's interesting. And so here's a breakdown of the most notable sales during the Barrett Jackson this last weekend. First of all, GM brought something they called a GM Defense. It's an infantry squad vehicle. I didn't even know what it was when they showed it on screen. It was during one of their nonprofit fundraisers. So I don't remember how much it went for, but it's based on a Chevy Colorado frame with a Duramax turbo diesel, and super cool. And it was sold on behalf for fundraising for the Medal of Honor Foundation. A performer saw this one, Pagani Huayra. The headline story, top sale, $3.19 million for the Pagani. You know, and Paganis are kind of works of art. If you've seen them, they're amazing cars, and they've always command high prices. This sale confirms hypercar fever is still up there, analog fever, right? And it set the tone for other supercars during the weekend. It was a little early in the night. I can't remember what time it was, but it seemed like the sale of that was before a lot of the Ferraris and Porsches and things like that. So really crazy price. I mean, higher than what was expected. Those normally sell for 2.6 when they do come up, 2.6, 2.7. So this was higher than what was expected. And Doug DeMuro and a few other people are talking about this Porsche fever, right? So I thought I'd mention it a little bit. You know, I saw GT3 RSs go for over $400,000, GT3s over $300,000. Crazy prices for Porsches. It was amazing. There was even a 911 Turbo S that crossed. There was a few of them that crossed over the 300,000 mark, and of course I just mentioned the GT3s and GT3 RSs. Crazy pricing for Porsches. For whatever reason, people seem to be really in love with Porsche right now. I mean, they're always in love with Porsche, but there's a fever pitch right now for any Porsche, it seems. There was also a Brabus. If you don't know who Brabus is, they're a big Porsche and Mercedes customizer. There was a 2023 Porsche Brabus 900 Rocket R, which is a heavily modified 911, hammered for $1.1 million. So I never thought modified cars like that would ever achieve high numbers like that compared to an unmodified standard old Porsche. But it shows that modified cars are going up. I mean, we all remember the roof Porsche, right? Those slope nose Porsches, those were cool. And then on to Ferrari. Ferrari was a mixed bag. There was a 2011 Ferrari 599 GTO. It took $1.6 million, and that's a V10, or excuse me, that's a V12 GTO, And we know that V12s are a dying breed within Ferrari, and they're dying off. And I don't even know if there's one that's made. I think there's one or two that are still made with the V12. But my point is that that V12 analog car, people love them. Also, some of the mid-2000 Ferraris like the F430 and the 599 GTB didn't really see this any uplift. They remained the same, right about their market estimates. So really, buying everything that's Ferrari doesn't automatically mean that things are going to go up in price if you buy a Ferrari. There's some that do, and there are some that don't. And then the last story I have for you today, being Monday, 4/20, is guess what? April 20th, 1983, 43 years ago today, Chevy introduced the C4 Corvette, the 1984 Corvette with the digital dash, and what a departure from the 82 and 81. I had an 81 Corvette. Totally different, right? It did have the crappy crossfire injection for one more year for the 84, which people hated, but looked like a fighter jet, had the really cool wraparound digital cockpit kind of thing going on. Peak 80s, loved it. C4 and the series, C4, C5, C6, and C8s, that signaled that C4 Corvette released on April 20th, 1984, really signified a major change in technology and advancement for Corvettes, and it's still true today. So love that moment in time. This is your morning pit stop. I hope you're enjoying the show. Hit the hit that like and subscribe button, please. It's the best way to help my tiny little channel grow. I'll see you back in the Bay sometime this week, probably Wednesday. See ya.